amendment that Mr. Biggs and I have submitted would restore order and legitimacy to the U.S. asylum system, and I'd urge you to make it in order. When Donald Trump left office, we'd restored operational control of our border. The wall was nearing completion. Court-ordered deportations were finally being enforced. Migrant protection protocols negotiated with Mexico and other administrative steps by the Trump administration had reduced the number of fraudulent asylum claims to a trickle. All that Joe Biden needed to do was continue these policies. Instead, he reversed them on his first day in office. In doing so, he sent a clear and unmistakable message heard around the world: America is now a nation without borders. And the results are staggering. In 20 months, more than 3.6 million illegal aliens have been encountered on the southwest border. Well over 1 million have been deliberately admitted into our country and trafficked across it at taxpayer expense. While the Border Patrol was overwhelmed processing this mass illegal migration, another 1 million or more entered without ever encountering the Border Patrol. In 20 months, we have thus added an impoverished, dependent, and illegal population larger than the populations of Alaska, South Dakota, Vermont, and Rhode Island combined. No civilization has survived a mass migration of this magnitude. A Gallup reports there are 42 million people living in poverty in Latin America and the Caribbean who want to come to the United States, and now they are. Aliens know that if they can just make it to the southern border, they can claim a fear of persecution, however fraudulent. After that, the Biden administration will simply release them into the U.S. to await their years-long immigration court process. And as an extra gift, Joe Biden will also give them a work permit. There's simply no downside to coming here. Meritless asylum claims make a mockery of the U.S. immigration system and of our humanitarian immigration programs that seek to help those who need protection. They strain the immigration court system and enrich the Mexican smuggling cartels. Congressional Democrats have ignored this self-inflicted debacle for too long. The immigration court caseload is now an unprecedented 1.9 million cases, nearly half of which are asylum claims. Only a small number of aliens who have been found to have a credible fear of persecution are actually found by immigration judges to be eligible for asylum. For instance, in fiscal year 2021, only 14% of aliens in removable cases that originated with a credible fear claim were granted asylum. That same percent for fiscal year 2020 was 16.5, not that much higher. So what does that mean? It means that most of the cases in which aliens are found initially to have credible fear end up not being eligible for asylum. The meritless cases take up scarce resources and time in immigration courts and add to the long waiting times for legitimate asylum claims. One answer is to preclude aliens who can seek asylum in other countries from being able to seek asylum in the U.S. absent certain exceptions. The amendment Mr. Biggs and I have proposed does exactly that. Simply says that an alien is not eligible for asylum in the U.S. if the alien has passed through a safe third country in which he or she could apply for asylum. There are certain exceptions. For instance, if the alien did apply for and was denied asylum in that safe third country, then the alien can apply for asylum here. If the alien is being trafficked, he or she can apply for asylum here. And if the alien only transited through countries that were not parties to certain international protocols that came out of the 1957 Refugee Convention or the Convention Against Torture, they can also apply for asylum here. The goal is not to cut off access to asylum in the U.S., but rather it is to make reasonable changes to U.S. law that will rein in the recent explosion of meritless claims. If that happens, fewer migrants will make the dangerous journey to the U.S. because they will know that they'll not simply get a free pass to wait in the U.S. for years. The cartels will also stop making money off of migrants who often become victims of rape and other violent crimes and to mortal dangers in the desperate trip to get here. And legitimate asylum seekers can have their day in court expeditiously. There's much that Congress could do to restore integrity to our asylum system and in turn to our nation's borders. The changes made by our amendment are just the start, but it would be a highly effective start. And I'd urge you to make this amendment in order.